not quite as noisy. It's a rat rod. Go get his fan belt. Let's see we go here. Got any more noisies? It is now because of the different culture, but they used to have drag races where you could uncap the headers and you would have better performance, but now they put mufflers on them because they built all these houses around the drag strip.
That's just quiet.
That's just the way it goes. You always have to keep moving out, moving away from them. What?
We got here a little late.
Oh, well, this is one of the better times to be here, though.
After all leaving.
But you get to hear them.
I'm sure he's somewhere around here.
In the late 60s, and through the 70s, this was regular streetcars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could drive them and the cops, anyway, you weren't as bothered by the society. Well, the whole society. They hear something like that and it freaks them out. I guess it's the power they can't control. And so they get all excited. It's like, that's when freedom reigned, man. Now I think it's a felony or something if you burn your tires.
Really?
I think so. It's a felony for eluding the cops now. It didn't used to be. And now they can shoot you if you try and run away. It's just a different place, that's all.
I would have loved to have been older, alive in the 70s.
60s and 70s were great because everything was for a kid too. They had the whole thing set up for the whole family. Didn't matter, adults and the kids got it. The whole thing was set up. You could participate with the whole family.
Oh, nice.
So, and then I could afford my own food, my own burgers and whatever. And then it was usually, we had like a dinner out usually every Friday, and then we'd go out for pizza or burgers or something. And if we had burgers, we'd eat in the car. And we had some drink. Yeah, they'd come out. You'd have a little intercom. You roll down your window, press the intercom, make the order. They bring out. You roll your window up a little bit, and they'd hook the tray on the window, and then everybody got there.
Doesn't Sonic kind of still do that, or one of them does it?
I think they went out of business. I knew there was one over towards Beaverton, and they closed. But yeah, Sonic made it to the area, but it didn't catch on. A&W was the best one that I grew up with.
I remember those.
A&W floats, and the root beer.
Yeah, the big floats.
They'd freeze because they'd have frozen mugs, and then the root beer would be, and they'd still even lick the mug no matter what was on it. That's good for your immune system, I think.
Yeah.
When kids are eating dirt and whatever, they get a better immune system.
I remember the floats. We had them when I was a kid,
Yeah. I like their burgers, and then Arctic Circle was a really good one too.
Is it?
For burger, and yeah, they had that fry sauce, that kind of the mayonnaise ketchup blend, and you'd eat more of the fry sauce with the fries. And the sauce was really good, and then everything else. And then again, it wasn't sticker shock. You could, if you had your own little money, you could buy a burger.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so restrictive. Well, and restrictive. I mean, you don't participate if you don't have the money, I guess, or you just keep putting it on the credit card.
I don't know. I don't know what you meant. I was just going to sit here and let me hit by me. I'm surprised you're not right here listening to all of it. Mostly for the music is why I want to be alive.
Well, you can go back and I listen to a lot of stuff that I
can't see them live anymore. Like
I play a guitar, so I don't even go out anymore.
I saw Robert Plant 2 times, and it's not the same.
Well, it's all over YouTube. I've watched it. They got the DVD remakes, and you can buy the book, the video book library, and I don't know. I play guitar myself, so I don't really have to go get those.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played long enough. I've built my own guitar amps and stuff, and really got into trying to find that older, powerful sound or the older sounds. And if you stick with it, and then I say if you make something an affordable hobby, you get other people to come to you with their stuff, and you learn and get paid to learn.
I have a guitar sitting in my house. I don't know how to play it.
Yeah, it takes.
I don't have the strength in my hands.
It does take something. You got to have it. And then you got to have something that you think sounds good, even if it's just simple. And then also, I guess I've freed myself up, and it feels way better to quit trying to learn what everybody else will teach you, because you kind of then sound like them, and maybe the average person wants to keep hearing the common, but it's art. And so with art, you can kind of, hopefully it's not ugly and gross and horrible, but you start training yourself, and that's kind of what I did with painting too. I wasn't really, I couldn't see depth, or I didn't figure it out kind of as a kid, probably because I didn't care, or I didn't spend the time, and I didn't have anybody, I guess, who would spend enough time so I could grasp anything in school. It was always, oh man, that's easier than I thought it was. And so I'd struggle because I'd think it was difficult, and then once I loosened up on it, it wasn't that hard, and then they changed it on me.
Oh no.
So you're like, forget it.
Yeah, I am a concert person. I would love to see all these bands. I listen to a lot of music.
Well, YouTube. I mean, YouTube
I actually wanted to be alive and go to the Woodstocks.
I don't know.
I told my mom, she was lucky. She's like, I didn't listen to that. That was druggy music.
I mean, Robert Plant got out of it because he knew they could not sound like they did, so he quit. And then he went into the, that country stuff.
He was so good.
But he had his time period, but they, like any of them, they kind of go, and then if it depends on the style, because theirs was quite diverse. I learned way more about them because I thought, man, these guys are really good. They're really smart, or they can figure stuff. They just took so much from obscure artists.
Oh,
They'd find them. Someone would show them, tell them, go listen to this old dude out in the boonies. Oh, they did that over and over and over. Even Stairway to Heaven. You look it up on a Google search and just ask, what song sounds like Stairway to Heaven before.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy Page took a lot of what he did with the Yardbirds into that Zeppelin too.
Yeah.
You know, so-
They got sued several times over
yeah,
music.
but they, I mean, and then they had enough diversity, because I think that's because of the, I don't know where I'm at and I don't know what I did play kind of music, you know, so there was a lot of diversity, so it took people a little longer. I mean, it's aged really well.
I love her. I absolutely
So-
love it. The Beatles. We just had the Rolling Stones, last year they came in. And
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm just not, I guess I listen different than I used to, because I can kind of hear the sounds, or I hear the mistakes, or if it doesn't sound good.
I think it sounds so much better
So-
than today's music, though. Today's music's so electronic, and this
Well-
is actually when they played instruments.
The Black Crowes did a good job, very good for that style. There is still some bands that made it. Wolf Mother.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they were out of Australia. They were very Zeppelin-ish
Okay.
influence for sure, and then they brought in that kind of the wildness of it too.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was older sound, you know, like the older style sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put out a few albums. They were pretty good, actually.
I like the Zach Brown band because they have all instruments too. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're all instrumental too. They're really good.
But there are bands still out. I mean, I used to like, and still do, like Deep Purple. There was great, and you just kind of have to enjoy the transition, because then it was Blackmore into Rainbow, and then Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and then it was Jolyn Turner, I think, sang for the Surrender tour. I went to that, and the Pat Travers,
Okay.
that snorting whiskey, smoking cocaine, or drinking cocaine album,
Yeah.
where that was Boom Boom Out Goes the Lights, and that was like a live, I think they recorded live or took live response to make that song.
That's so
But that concert, the Travers was so loud, I mean, it was loud, it just, you couldn't hear anything, your ears just went whoosh.
Oh, was that loud?
It went whoosh, oh yeah. They like started it out pretty, stinking loud, because Rainbow played before they did. And then about the next song, halfway in, I don't know, they kicked it in, and it was like I mean, you just heard a wash. You couldn't hear the definition of anything. It was so loud, you heard the wash.
So that's not doing really bad. That's kind of,
Well, also, then you're young, and you don't quite know yet when you get your tinnitus when you're older from, definitely. I tried to protect my ears for quite a few years, but even when I play, it sounds so different. It doesn't sound as, full frequency, and I still like the power of the loud.
yeah.
So I have a tinnitus.
I don't know. I tell my mom that we should switch spots because I would love to have been born during that time.
But that's where YouTube can expose a lot of that, and then get a good Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
And it's free.
See them live. I'm like, oh.
They're live. I mean, they have live long
I
concerts.
go to like the Woodstocks and all that kind of stuff that was happening.
Well, I think
I would have definitely been a
I think reading about Woodstock, I sure wouldn't want to be probably there or the band owner, because you've heard of Burning Man, right?
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
Did you go there?
No.
Okay, well that's probably what you think. I would think Woodstock would turn into. Oh, absolutely. I grew up in the '60s hearing about San Francisco because we lived on the West Coast,
Yeah.
and so all the junk that was going there would make the news. The
Yeah.
flower kids, the free love, and just nudity in the parks and whatever they did. And for the mid '60s or 60, 80, up to 60, 80s, 90s, as a little kid, you're just like, man, that's crazy stuff.
I would have just loved to go to the music. Mine's not about the drugs, it's just about the music.
Well, I said I see, I guess, listening enough, got a hold of enough, and like I can only listen to certain amounts so much. Because there was a whole bunch I went back and listened to that I might have heard a little on the AM radio, which I had a little pocket radio that I'd lay at night and I'd listen to whatever I could, didn't matter what it was, and so I think I tuned myself pretty good to a variety of music instead of liking a style or one style kind of, but I like music.
Yeah.
And if I like it, then I don't really mind if you'd say there's a style. But I don't like familiarity. I kind of like to be, I like it more creative. I don't really want to hear you play something very similar to what I grew up with. It's kind of like watching an old, or grew up on a lot of old black and white comedies and comedy movies and having Costellos and everything. And then now you watch it and it's like, it is not funny to me at all, because it's like, come on, that's so not even creative. You just keep ripping it off and then reselling it. And that's kind of what happens is people, that's what society does anyway. They remake a car and remake a car and remake a car, and it's like, what about the cool old one? Why don't you make one look like that?
Yeah.
And they're trying to follow a generation, where the money's at.
Some of them gone back to the older ones too.